Hey guys, welcome back to an episode of Fishing with Flair. Today I have a vicious fishing line unboxing. Got a few spools of line. Just thought I'd share, as well as I'll kind of go over what I use different line for, different line size, stuff like that. And just tell you why I like the vicious line, especially their braid, which is what I ordered over anybody else's. So, see here I got 4 spools of braid. See, I got 2 300-yard spools of 15-pound braid, 1 300-yard spool of 30, and then 1 of 50. And so basically, 50-pound I like to use for frogging and flipping. If I'm punching or flipping big jigs and heavy cover, I'll go with the 50-pound. For just about everything else, as far as bait casters go, buzz baits, sometimes spinner baits or chatter baits, but worms, jigs, flipping, lighter cover, anything but crankbaits, I'll use 30-pound braid for. It's a good all-around braid size. 50 is okay, but you can't cast quite as far as 30, and I've never really had an issue breaking off 30-pound braid, especially if you're not fishing too heavy of cover. And then I got 15-pound braid, which is specifically for spinning rods. And although I don't use spinning rods that often, with the fall season coming, fall season's already here, but as the winter's approaching, you kind of have to finesse it up a little bit with the drop shot and the shaky head and stuff like that. And I was just in need of some line, so I got 2 300-yard spools of 15-pound braid. And I get a lot of questions as far as, like, do I put a fluorocarbon leader, or do I just tie it directly to the braid? And to be honest, I just tie directly to the lure with the braid. I don't ever use leaders, and the only times I have, I've broken them. Every time I tie a fluorocarbon leader, I set the hook and I break it, whether it's my drag's too tight or whatever. I just don't like it. I don't really feel like the braid affects the bass, because the water around my area is not clear. It's not like up in the northern lakes where it's clear water. It's pretty stained, if not dirty. The last lake that I fished, it was like chocolate milk was what the water looked like. So obviously you're not going to have to worry about line visibility. And a lot of what the pros do is they get Sharpie and will color 5 feet of the line black, which is a lot more invisible than low-vis green, which is what this color is and what most braid is. So if you're worried about braid, fish being able to see it, I'm telling you, if the visibility is like less than a foot, what lake you're fishing in, I wouldn't worry about it. I fished straight braid all this season, all last season, never noticed a problem with it. But if you do live up in north where you're fishing for smallmouth, I'd say, yeah, they might be a little line shy, but day in, day out, I wouldn't worry about it. It's a lot of hassle, and you break off a lot more fish than you do just doing straight braid. So, like I said, 15-pound braid for spinning rods works really well. I wouldn't go too much less or any more. 15 is just a perfect line. So if you're looking for braided line for spinning rods, definitely 15. If you're just looking for all-around line for bait casters, 30-pound. And if you're frogging or flipping, or you're on big bass or heavy cover, I'd go with 50. If it's not, 65. I don't like 65 because you can't cast quite as far, but 65 is also an option. And I'll kind of show you why I like to use vicious braid, especially their braid, over anyone else's. And I started using this a little while ago, and I know it's probably not going to be the easiest thing to see, but the reason why I like it is because there's some other companies that where their braid is just too stiff. It comes out like a wire, like you bend it and it gets all kinked up. I mean, it's literally like fishing with wire. And then there's some where it's just so limp and so loose that it's hard to get a cast off without birds nesting it, because everything just gets all snarled up. This line right out of the package is like broken in. If you guys have fished with braid a lot and you get some of that braid where it's wiry, but you use it for the entire weekend and it gets loosened up and broken in, that's the best braid. It's when you can cast a mile with it, it's broken in, it's loose, it's not too loose, it's perfect. That's what this comes out of the package. I've never seen any line. I've tried just about every line company on the market, and this braid, just the texture of it, the coating doesn't wear off very easily. It takes a while for it to turn colors, and even then you can Sharpie it. But the color stays on there, and the texture, and just how limp it is, but it's not too limp. As you can see, you can bend it and it'll kind of hold its shape, but it's not like other companies where it's just really wiry or it's too loose, like yarn or string. I don't know how to explain it other than the fact that you just need to go get yourself some if you're a braid fisherman, because it's just the best line by far as castability, being able to cast. I know I had a problem with buzz baits. Buzz baits have a lot of wind resistance when you're casting with braid. It gets snarled up. I tried vicious braids, the reason why I switched to it, and don't have a problem. You cast a mile with it, It's already broken in, but it's not too loose. It's not too stringy. It's perfect. So that's kind of why I like to use it.